My name's Tom Devlin. I'm a special makeup effects artist, and I own Tom Devlin's Monster Museum here in Boulder City, Nevada. Also, I'm a collector. When I first conceptualized Tom Devlin's Monster Museum, I pictured it a lot more like a Planet Hollywood. I had gone to the Mopop Museum in Seattle, Washington, and I saw all these cool screen-used things and glass cases, and I thought it would be a lot of that. Like I had some Death Studios killer clowns, which Death Studios doesn't make killer clowns anymore, and things like that, and my collection, basically. But as I started piecing it out and trying to raise money to get this thing going, I started feeling this freedom of like, but it's so much cooler if it's my killer clowns. And it's so much cooler if it's my Toxic Avenger. And so from that, it gave me this kind of an amplified desire to create all of my childhood favorite things. And it was really neat that I already had the puppets done because that was one of my childhood favorite things as well. But then to get to make my own Frankenstein's monster, to make my own Michael Myers mask, my take on the Myers mask, rather than just recycling one that is very known that everybody has seen, I get to add my flair to it. All the characters in here are not exactly screen accurate. They're Tom's take on that character. So it's become like a personal art gallery. It's educational, it's fun, it's kooky, and it really is a traditional, old school roadside attraction. So in the museum, we start with our silent features and we work our way forward in history. So of course, Nosferatu being one of the creepiest fellows ever designed. So here we have the Phantom of the Opera, of course played by Lon Chaney, and my whole intent is to show the Phantom as a real entity. Both the Phantom and the Hunchback completely non-related except for played by Lon Chaney. So we try to add a little bit of likeness even though they're not the same. They have similar forehead wrinkles, similar pore texture that you won't see on other characters here. And of course we have all these information boards that will tell people about Lon Chaney and the importance that he is to special makeup effects as the man of 1,000 faces. Planet of the Apes to me is one of the most important undertakings in makeup effects. Before Planet of the Apes, foam latex had been used in movies like Wizard of Oz to create the Scarecrow and Cowardly Lion, but it wasn't recognized as an industry staple until the series of Planet of the Apes. So John Chambers pretty much changed the world with Planet of the Apes, bringing us characters like Freddy Krueger and Hellboy and anything else that we've grown to love in this foam latex world. All resonates and starts with Dr. Zaius and Zira. So I'm a huge, huge Apes fan. And here we have the creature of the Black Lagoon. One of my favorite things that has come to light with the creature more so recently than in the past is it was created by a woman named Millicent Patrick, and Millicent also created one of my favorite characters, the Metaluna Mutant from This Island Earth. Two of my favorite monsters of all time, both created by the same person, so I think that's pretty brilliant, and I wish I would have known that longer, but I'm glad to share that information with everybody that comes through here. Killer Clowns, a cult classic, but I'm surprised at how many people love the Killer Clowns from Outer Space. It was such a lesser known movie when I was a kid. These heads were originally made for Trick or Treat Studios. These are the masters, but it's two of my favorite sculptures, and I did them for Trick or Treat Studios. Welcome to Tromaville. This is not exactly what the Toxic Avenger looks like, but like I said, in all my stuff, it's kind of my take on these characters. So with Toxie, if I got the chance to recreate him as a movie, I would do him green, much more like the Toxic Crusaders, and he would be bubbly and nasty all over the place, rather than just have some painted skin with a bubbly head. So I love Toxie, I've always loved Toxie, and this is kind of where it all starts for me. My imagination ran wild with Toxic Crusaders and Toxic Avenger as a kid. So to get to work for the Troma team and be part of the family, it means a whole lot, These are the screen-used puppets from Puppet Master Axis Termination. Both Blade and Pinhead here are full animatronics, and then over here we have rod puppets of Jester and Tunneler, and that six-shooter is animated as well with servos. And then over here we have the Pinhead from Puppet Master X. So here we have Frankenstein's monster, which I get in a debate with everybody because I say, oh, Frankenstein's my favorite monster. And they're like, Frankenstein's not the monster, Frankenstein's the man that made the monster. So if you're gonna tell me that Victor Frankenstein created this guy and his name is not Adam Frankenstein, I could tell you to go home, because that's Frankenstein. So this is our Myers house, and like I said, most everything in this place is reclaimed items, and the cool thing about this, the railing was actually my daughter's crib, and the only thing that we bought for this house was these 2 pipes, or plastic pipes, but the rest was all found lumber and just stuff that we could reuse. The Myers house is a hit here at the Monster Museum. I even had a couple, the guy proposed to his wife on the porch of the Myers house, but yeah, I mean, it's just one of those things. It's like we're inside, but it kind of makes you feel like you're outside. Freddy Krueger would be the second silicone item in the museum. And oddly enough, Freddy was never silicone. He was always foam latex, but covered with KY. And we can't have KY sopped up all over in the museum. So I use silicone to give him the sheen and gloss. This is Camp Crystal Lake, and there's a little bit of work to be done here, but as of right now, you walk through the bridge and we have Jason from Jason Goes to Hell. Eventually, I plan on having all different versions of Jason through every little peek hole that there is here. This is actually one of the first autographs I ever got. I was 14 years old, and I met Kane Hodder for the first time at a Chiller Theater event, and he signed that poster for me, and we took a picture. Years later on the set at Ed Gein, Butcher of Plainsfield, we recreated the same photo, and then just 2 months ago, we worked together again. I'm good buddies with Kane and hope to do a lot more with him in the future. Of course, Night of the Living Dead being the greatest zombie film of all time and possibly responsible for an entire genre. George Romero classic. These are some zombies. I used to make these and sell them to haunted attractions. These are both actually animated props that move. They ran, before her speed controller went bad, they ran for 2 years straight, day and night. So these are both mechanical guys, and they're pretty awesome. This right here is a little known fact. This is a screen-used Bruce Campbell hand from the movie Congo, not Evil Dead. But it's the same hand he cuts off, so I put it there, and it is from the last scene in Congo. It's like coming out of the dirt, and that's what that's from. You would think that putting a monster museum in Nevada, outside of Las Vegas, it would be like crickets here. We also had a bypass put around Boulder City about 4 or 5 months after we had got to town. When I rented this building, I had no idea they were going to bypass Boulder City, and everybody came at me like, what about the bypass? What about the bypass? And I didn't know what they were talking about. Well, the bypass has not hurt business whatsoever. It's only helped it because we got this awesome sign on the freeway right under the attractions, and it's got our logo, and that brings us business every day. So everything has kind of just worked in our favor here.